Welcome to Footy Center podcast series, powered by Ultra Press Media Company.
It's another episode of FC Pitchside podcast with me, Theo Inyan. I'm excited to bring you this edition as well. But today, I'm sorry, we don't have Jonathan Mensah. He has an emergency, and so we'll excuse him. But in his place, we have the only Arsene Wenger remaining in the world of football. I'm talking about Ignatius Ose-Fosu. He joins us in the room. He joins us in the room because he has a lot of philosophy to share. A lot of philosophies to share. And it's not just going to be the Arsene Wenger philosophies, but he probably would get us into the minds of Ancelotti and Arne Slot and Hansi Flick, because we are going to be discussing them. Ignatius, welcome to FC Pitchside podcast.
Thank you, my guy. Thank you, my guy, Thierry. Sijo, before he mentions your name, you know something?
Tell me.
In Accra, this my guy, Thierry, and Mr. Hart were the ones who introduced me to Accra. Trust me.
Oh,
Henry Asante Jum.
Yes,
That's
Mr.
right.
Hart.
That's
Now,
right. That's right.
hey, my guy, these guys were my.
But I mean Ignatius top guy. Ignatius top guy.
Trust me, anytime.
Charlie, great times, right? Great times.
I'm
But Charlie,
telling
time flies, oh. Charlie, time flies, oh.
like
Do
8
we
years
go to guys for
now.
good things or for bad things? Which one is it?
But Ignatius is not known for bad things. So what kind of question is that?
Let me
I'm
tell
just
you.
asking,
Let me tell you.
I'm
For
just
example, let me tell you, Sicho, something. After a game, when we had lost, even when I was away, it's either I'll call Henry or I'll call Thierry, and it's like I'm like, my guy.
Hey, wait. Bass. You see how you call Thierry?
Is that I'll call Henry or Thierry?
Bass.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Sicho.
today we are going to be looking at how Arne Slot has guided Liverpool to win the English Premier League, because trust me, it's been an amazing season for the Reds. And it's not just because they were crowned before the season's end, but it's the kind of football they have played. Even though the style and that class has diminished the last few weeks, they still have oozed a lot of confidence and form across the entire season. Although, the Champions League didn't go too well. We'll also look at how Real Madrid are struggling and keep struggling against Barcelona. And then I will be discussing Prosper Nate Ogum and his love or hate affair with Kumasi Asante Kotoko with the guys. And then we have the quiz at the end of the show. So guys, if you were not told, we have a quiz at the end of every episode. And so I'm going to be asking you guys a few questions here and there, and then we'll get to it. We'll see who knows football. Last week, Jonathan Mensah taught Sicho a big lesson.
It's a shame he's not here. He's not here for me to revenge him, but I'll get him another time.
I'm pretty sure at this point, Jonathan listening, I'm sure he's just like laughing. He's like, I'm laughing like killer. I'll be back. Anyway, guys, I think it's just appropriate that we start the show with Ignatius. Ignat, you are an assistant coach for the Sudan national team. Great things happening for you guys in the world of football. But off the field, the country's in turmoil. A lot of crazy stories coming out of Sudan. How have you guys managed football and harmonizing the entire country? Especially, you, Kwesi Appiah, started with Fatal Dauda with you guys as well. He's no longer with you guys. But what has it been with the Sudan national team? What has life been like?
I think for the Sudanese, they are extreme people. When I say they are extreme people, when they want to do something, they do it at the extreme. So if they like something, they like it too much. And
Right.
for Kwesi being there before, he has coached some teams there before. So he knows their
Yes.
temperament for football. I say they are just like Ghana. They have quality like Ghana. But the difference,
Really?
yes, they have quality. But the difference is that, okay, let me put it in a better way. They have talent like Ghana. But they are for Ghana, we have a refined talent. But theirs is not refined talent. And so what Kwesi is doing is that I always say is that what we are going through is the brain of Kwesi Appiah and the heart of the Sudanese people. So Kwesi knows how they play and how to get into their head. And because there is war for them, for me, I remember before every match, he will go like, my guys, you are here, people are there defending you with guns. You are here to defend with your legs and give them for them to be happy. So just go all out to make the people of Sudan very happy. And trust me, as I sit here, it is everything has to do with Kosiapia. Every little
It- it's,
detail,
it's, it's,
even food.
it's good you mentioned Kwesi Appiah, but I wanted to ask you, do you think he has evolved as a person? Not everybody, you can say, would know how to motivate a crop or a group of players, especially when their families are dying and fighting in the country and they have to go on the pitch to play football. Do you think he has evolved as a person? Is he a better motivator now? Is he still, what is his biggest strength as we speak? Is it still tactics? Is it motivation? Is it charisma? What is it?
I think it's a blend of everything. Because you see, if you know me too well, like Sichu knows me too well, I was more of a tactician where I believed in that I should be pragmatic. But meeting Kosiapi, I came to understand that tactics should not be too much of a complicated thing. A very simple thing. So he chooses the very simple tactic, go with his charisma and his motivation for the players. So, for example, he asked me, Ignatius, why would you want to pass from the back when you don't have a very good centre back who can pass the ball? Meanwhile,
It's true.
you have a very good centre forward who can hold on to the ball, bring people in.
It looks like
What?
Kwesi Appiah needs to coach Chelsea because Maresca doesn't know what you're saying. You have Trevor Chalobah and
No,
you have
How have you managed to
Tosin,
drag
and you want to
Chelsea?
play from the back.
but fair,
How
You
have
fair,
want
you
to
fair,
pass
managed to
from the
drag
back.
Chelsea? How have you managed to drag
fair
Chelsea to
enough.
this?
Fair,
Let me not start my frustration. You continue,
No,
please. Let me not start my
fair
frustration.
enough. It is. I will say. I don't want to say it is naive or it is something to compare Mariska to Kosiapia because Kosiapia has vast experience more than Mariska.
Way better experience. The
Exactly.
only thing is that he's not English
Yes,
or
that's
he's not European.
exactly.
If Kwesi Appiah were European,
If
Kwesi
Kwesi
Appiah would
was
have been coaching
European,
Chelsea by now.
trust me, the teams he has.
Enzo Maresca.
If Ghana was an European team, because he would have coached maybe a France in there. So to tell you the truth, I always say that it is his ability, his charisma, as you put it, very simple. His
Right.
charisma and his
Right.
motivational skills together with being able, because trust me, being able to choose a tactical approach to suit your players. Or you see, sometimes you want something. Let me tell you something. Kwasi, if you're asking, he's a typical 4-4-2 coach. So you look at all his time in Ghana, he will pair a
Mm-hmm.
Samojan with maybe a Matthew Amwa. He will pair a Samojan with maybe David Akam. He will pair a Samojan with maybe a Majid Waris. And when you look at all, see, these are two strikers. But because he comes in
Right.
here, and every time it's a 4-3-3 formation.
Mm.
So you ask yourself, a typical 4-4-2 coach who has coached Ghana over the 10 years as an assistant coach and what have you comes
Yeah.
in here and is doing a 4-3-3. To tell you the truth, then it means that he just not comes in and think that this is my philosophy. He's more of a pragmatic coach. And for me,
Exactly. I
that's
like
all,
that.
and that's all what he does. And that is what is keeping us going. He be pragmatic because he knows when and how to deliver whatever he wants to do.
Obviously, I mean, you are learning under him, you are helping him achieve great results there. How would you say you have evolved as a coach as well? I mean, you've coached a couple of Ghana Premier League teams, Mediema, Liberty, you've been with 11 Wonders.
Yeah.
You are now an assistant coach of a national team. Obviously, the football is different.
Yeah.
The career in itself is different.
Yeah.
But have you progressed as a manager being
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Kwesi
yeah.
Appiah?
No,
Who have you become now?
I think in terms of personality, I'm
Hmm.
more now refined and more patient now. You know, my biggest problems with all these Ghanaian, all of these hula baloo about me was not about my ability to deliver. People felt that I was good, but my problem was the externalities. Ignatius is not patient, he fights with this. And I've said it before. If I had met Kwesi Appiah earlier, some of the ordeals I've gone through, I wouldn't have gone through.
You wouldn't have.
I think I've evolved as an individual, being patient more this time than before, because before then Akomi and Ticho will tell you, even as ask you to. He used to interview me. Sometimes he had to calm me down before the interview. He will come in and he will say that, my guy, you are coming on TV. Relax. Because you still seem agitated. But truth be told, now, it looks like after a game, I'm like, it's part of the deal. There is nothing you can do about it. But, when you have type A, when you do personality traits, I'm a typical type A, because Yapi I said typical type A. So when you look at both of us, we're not supposed to work together. But because he is a refined type A who can deal with the pressure at any point in time. Whilst I couldn't deal with the loss. But working with him has given me, just as I'm saying, more of patience now. Now I'm more a little bit patient than before.
I love that because we need great coaches in the Ghana football fraternity, and currently we are struggling a bit, and so it'll be good to see young blood like you be in the system for a very long time, and hopefully you'll be at the very top of our football,
Inshallah.
not coaching the very best of our teams
Yeah.
as well.
The guy
But
say inshallah. He goes to that car and say inshallah.
Uh, no,
He go-
the reality is that it's a language, my guy. It's a language. It's like Thierry, you are in France. You have been in France and you can speak a little bit of French, and it's normal now.
so the system they pass through you
Yeah,
small.
yeah, yeah. As for Arabic, it's part of me now. So
Well,
you will
well,
hear
that, well,
small,
that,
small.
well, that explanation makes sense. That explanation makes sense.
we'll take it.
Anyway, so yeah, we'll take it. Anyway, guys, let's just move on straight. We've heard the initial thoughts of Ignatius, who is an assistant coach of the Sudan national team, assisting coach Kwesi Appiah. But I've also got in the studio with me, in the room with me, a virtual room, that is Sicho Atrim. I want to hear your thoughts on Liverpool and their title victory in the English Premier League. I think it's been amazing for Liverpool. I mean, the whole season started with a lot of doubts around if they could even vie for top four, because remember, Jurgen Klopp struggled with it last season. And then this season, suddenly it's not top four challenge anymore. It was one win after the other after the other. I don't know if you guys remember, but they lost against Nottingham Forest. Was it Nottingham Forest at home?
Yeah, not
At
at first.
Anfield. Yeah. And then people thought, it's not going to happen. They were just in a bubble. It's now going to all dissipate, but it didn't. They are still going on strong, or they have gone on strong and won the Premier League title. I'll start with you, Sicho.
It's been superb. I think that if yeah, you mentioned it, Liverpool's Champions League exit, the FA Cup exit, the fact that they lost the Carabao Cup to Newcastle, let's not forget that. Maybe then people now look at it on hindsight and think it took something from their season. But first, you have to go back to match day one of the Premier League season and ask yourself that when Jurgen Klopp said goodbye to the club and Arne Slot was announced, if Liverpool fans had been told at the start of the season that skip every game in the season with Arne Slot and get to the end of the season and let us give you the Premier League, what would their reaction have been? I think that over 98% of Liverpool fans would have said they would take it. The reason is simple.
Right.
Manager Jurgen Klopp had come to build a club that, they had enjoyed a high level of success. Klopp leaves the club and Arne Slot comes in. He's from the Eredivisie, with no disrespect to them, but he hasn't done it at the very elite league like the Premier League. And mind you, when Jurgen Klopp played his last season at Liverpool, he complained about the quality of players he had. And it wasn't about the fact that they were not good enough. For him, the team wasn't balanced. So one of the things Jurgen Klopp wanted to do was to get a DM in a certain mode. So he ended up bringing Endo. Because it's not Gravenberg, McAllister.
I mean, he wanted Caicedo and Lavia, and they all ended up
Caicedo
wearing the blue shirts.
Absolutely. And at some point, he wanted Chouameni. So he needed a DM, and he ended up with Endo.
Yeah.
And that season, Endo played a lot of games for him. Arne Slot walks into the club, doesn't make any significant signing. The only real signing you can think of is Case. I mean, he virtually didn't play a part in the Premier League victory. But he uses the same players that only last season looked like it wasn't balanced. A team that Jurgen Klopp had said he needed a bit more bodies to compete for the Premier League. Arne Slot comes in, and on paper, let's face it, on paper, Gravenberg, McAllister, Szoboszlai is weak. On paper. When you look at that midfield, you're like, that midfield needs something else. But what he's been able to do is to find a system that produces or project the strength in that middle of the park, and then backed it up with the back line that is solid. But what's impressive for me, Thierry, is that Arne Slot has played this entire season with distractions. But the way his man managed the team has actually overshadowed those distractions. I'm talking about three of his best players, Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, all of them into the last year of their contracts. There has been noise about the players leaving the club or not extending their contract throughout the season. Yet, he's managed to keep their heads in the club and it got them to produce the results that they've produced. We've seen many teams who, when they are placed until the last year of their contracts, they don't play well. There's no harmony in the team. Their heads are turned. Not Arne Slot's Liverpool. So I think for me, Arne Slot has managed this Liverpool team so well, so that some of the problems we had seen under Jurgen Klopp, we didn't see this time. And the final point I'll make is, under Jurgen, we would see Liverpool tiring, getting to the end of the season because of the high-octane football. But under Arne, what he did was that they were not playing the high-octane football throughout the season. He managed the squad a lot better. His key players stayed fitter. And then at the end of the day, he's won the Premier League with games to spare. Credit to him. First season, massive trophy in the Premier League win. Massive credit to him.
I want to bring Ignatius into the conversation. So, I mean, as a coach, if you have watched Liverpool a few times this season, you'd realize that they don't press as much as they did under Jurgen Klopp. He seems to be resting the players. They had a lot more, air in their lungs to run the entire season and not just halfway through the season. What were the tweaks? Because people say they've not really seen a lot of changes. What, as a coach, did you observe any tweaks? How did Slot do this?
So the first thing is that they never, when I watched them, they never went on a like the Gengen pressing, so to speak, because you see
Right.
that one will take a lot of energy from you, and if you don't have the legs to do it, that's when you get a lot of injuries. One thing he has done very very well, and I always say is that is the man management aspect of the squad, because as Akumi is saying, it's like, as Cicho said it, they are lucky they did not have injuries. My guy, I always say that if a player gets injured at training, it's you, the coach.
Right.
When I'm teaching young coaches, I tell them that if a player gets injured at training, it has to do, everything has to do with you, the coach. When you look at some of the teams and their injuries they have gotten, for example, Arsenal and Kai Havertz, where did he get injured? It's at training. You understand?
Training, yeah.
So it has nothing to do with the like.
And it was supposed to be around the time when Arsenal was supposed to go for a break.
Exactly. And the intensity.
somewhere
So
in the Middle East.
all of these things brings about, and I don't see it as luck. I see it as managing your squad and whatever you have. So for me,
Right.
what he has brought, and not so many changes, that I think from where I say it, I think he might have spoken a lot to Jurgen Klopp to understand the ins and outs of the players. Because when you look at him, Jurgen Klopp was a typical 4-3-3 coach. He is also a 4-3-3 coach, but with a different dynamism. Because when you look at Jurgen Klopp, he does a one pivot, but this guy does a two pivot. You understand? So for Jurgen Klopp, the fullbacks, two of the fullbacks go forward at the same time, but with him, one fullback goes forward at a time. So if he's attacking with the left side, the attacking left fullback goes, like the left fullback goes, and the right fullback stays. And that's how come this season you will recognize that Trent Alexander-Arnold was not too much exposed, because previously both of them will go forward. So these are the few tricks to come in and say that no, we don't have to go forward with two of our fullbacks. One must stay, one must go. And this is a typical old-fashioned coach. So when I look at him, he's a modern coach with an old-fashioned like the Arsene Wenger's and the Alex Fergie. So if you remember, with Alex Fergie at that time, Antonio, what's his name? That
Antonio Valencia.
Valencia will go forward whilst the left back will stay. That's how come they can play a right footer as a left fullback, because both of them does not back forward at the same time. And these are
what was the trick? What was the trick with Mohamed Salah though? Because I mean, we all know Salah is good. We all know he's
So
great.
he
He's
gave
a
him
legend in the
he,
Premier League.
he just
But what was the trick with him?
he just gave him a free rule with him
Okay.
not pressing too much, because you see, again, you have to also notice the strength of a player and his weaknesses. So okay, for example, as Wenger always says, why should I teach Thierry Henry to head the ball when he can perfect his right foot? So for Arsene Wenger, he will not teach a player right and left foot. You understand? If you are very good
Mhm.
on the right, perfect the right foot such that you can deliver like 90 goals with the right foot than trying to perfect both feet such that then the goals will now come to let's say 70. Then I lose 20 goals. You get the point. So he
Yeah.
understands
Yeah.
that okay, with Mo Salah up front, trying to get Mo Salah up front will mean that he doesn't have to defend too much. And that's how come he uses two pivots. So if Akumia you recognize, he said that sometimes the other guy, is it what's his name? Gover something something. I always miss his name. The what's his name? The right
Gravenberch.
Gravenberch. So he plays as the right holding midfielder, but will step back as a centre back, whilst the right centre back will now shift into the right back position. So to
Mm.
cover for Trent, so that what is his name? Mo Salah will now not drop too deep, so that he will always be up front and be a threat to him. So he tells Mo Salah, just stay up, give us the goals, don't come back to defend, we'll defend for you, and that will be it, my guy. And that was the trick for.
Oh, I like that. I mean, I always like tactical insights. I watched the game. I understand Mohamed Salah is a forward. I understand Gravenberch is a midfielder. I don't worry myself
Yeah.
too much about whether he's stepping back to be a centre back, and if Alexander-Arnold has been told for the next 15 minutes not to track back and he's just stay forward. All of those things. It's great to have your insights on that, Ignatius. But I want us to move on from there. But before we do that, maybe I should ask you guys, and I think it's more like a cliche question. When anyone wins a league title, the question is, are they winning it again next year?
That's a tough one, really tough, because one it's the Premier League, and City are a great club with a great coach. They can
Right.
rebuild and come back strong. You never know what. I don't know
But they
how
still have
Arsenal
the
do.
115 issues. They still have Guardiola issues. If he's still the great coach he's always been, they still have to replace De Bruyne. They still have to
Yeah,
replace a lot of the players they lost.
yeah,
It's
but
it's going to be a
we've seen
big
City.
rebuild.
No, we've seen City rebuild squads before. We saw them the way we saw what they did with the Nasri Zabaletas, the Clichy's, the
The
Ayaturis,
Yaya
the
Toure.
David Silvers,
But you know,
Dimichelis.
the difference then though is
Yeah.
that these players were being faded out one after the other. In this
Yes.
case, they lost a bunch of players at the same time. Riyad Mahrez, to the chap that went to Atletico Madrid, Julian Alvarez,
Yeah.
they and the loss of form by Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and a few
Yes.
of the guys.
Yes.
Even the guy who went to Italy, Kyle Walker. So they have a lot of their key players lose form or leave the club at the same time.
I know the
And
problem with
that
City
I think
is
would be a bigger struggle for Guardiola.
the problem with City is that last summer they were a bit arrogant on the reality of the squad. They should have been a lot more ruthless in moving some players on. But look, Rodri is going to return, and when he returns, he's going to be. To be fair, we don't know in what shape or form he will return in, but for the talent that he's got, even if he produces 70% at the start, that is
Mm,
significant. And I think Man City have
okay.
got what it takes to bring in very good players. So you never know. But I think Arne Slot's Liverpool have already said they're going to make significant signings. Ghana's own Mohamed Kudus is on the list and a couple of other players. So they surely will be in that conversation to retain the title. Van Dijk is staying, Salah is staying. That is huge. But we'll see how it goes in the end.
I have one question for you, Ignatius. You were a coach. Is Slot a better coach than Arteta?
It depends on what you're looking at. So okay,
Okay.
I will put this question to you. In the Champions League, it's a lot better than
Right.
Arteta.
Well, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but This
We
one
don't know
was
yet because Liverpool beat Real Madrid too. Liverpool beat Real Madrid too.
No, wait.
Liverpool also beat Real
No,
Madrid in the
no,
league
wait.
phase.
No. We are looking at then when you talk about it, Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest beat what do you call it? Liverpool.
That's a fair point. That's a fair
That's
point.
a fair point. So
That's a
you
fair
look
point.
at where they are now. Where they are now. So what I mean is
Yeah.
that Arsenal has gone
It's just one place above. He
two
hasn't won.
steps
He hasn't won a
above
Champions League. It's
Liverpool.
just one place above.
Two steps. Don't forget, it's 2 steps because Arsenal
Oh,
played
actually,
in the
yeah, 2 steps.
yes, 2 steps. So
Yeah,
when
two
you look
steps,
at it,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It depends on what you're looking at. To have winners in your team, whether it's a goalkeeper, whether it's a
Yeah.
whether it's a centre back, you might have new midfielders, but behind them is it's like a backline who are mostly winners. You understand? So even when the
Yeah.
going becomes tough, talking to them in itself is big thing. Let me tell you the truth. If Arsenal won the league last 2 seasons, they would have won it last season. You know why? Because
Why?
they would have had bigger experience in terms of managing the season than what they did last season. Because for them last season it was theirs for the losing, and trust me, even this season they would have won it again. Because they would have better experience. Because there are some matches you look, even Gabriel Saliba, what is his name? Gabriel Mangalis. His voice there. You see, in 2 games when he had not played, Saliba, one of the best defenders in the world now, loses concentration and gives two footballs away. That causes us now. Sisho, did you see that? Against Real Madrid. In a big match.
Yes.
So just imagine Saliba playing with, what is his name? Van Dijk. You understand how much you will shout on him? It is because he
Yeah.
understands where he is now. So to equate both coaches in terms of their projects will be unfair.
At this point, I would just bring the curtains on Liverpool and their conversation, but just also take note that the clubs with the most Premier League title wins currently, Liverpool and Manchester United both have won 20 league titles.
Okay, so you are saying
I'm not.
Premier League
I'm
or
not.
league titles because Akumia will not agree.
Oh, I said league
Akumia will
title.
not
I said
agree.
league title.
Sito will
He
not
said Premier
It is
agree.
League.
league title.
Sito will
It
not
is league
agree.
title. I don't want to talk about Premiership and Premier League. The brand does not matter. It is league title.
Okay.
League titles. Now brand there, yeah. So you can't tell me that someone was first capital one plus Ghana Premier League into the account. Please, I don't want to hear that. Anyway, Liverpool and Manchester United have 20 titles. Just behind them, or it's not just, but behind them is Arsenal with 13, 7 adrift. Manchester City have climbed to 10 league titles. Everton have 9. Aston Villa have 7. Chelsea and Sunderland are tied with 6. Hey, I know quality. Chelsea and Sunderland are tied with 6. Chelsea and Sunderland are tied with 6.
Project to
Newcastle, Sheffield Wednesday have 4. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Leeds United, Huddersfield Town, Blackburn Rovers have 3, and so on. I mean, you didn't hear Tottenham Hotspur because they have won 2 league titles, and that's ages ago. But we'll move on from there. We'll go straight to some transfer business, especially with Mohamed Salah and Nicholas Jackson, Mohamed Kudus, Antoine Semenyo, all these guys being mentioned. We have an exclusive interview with Ben Jacobs. He's going to be breaking down all the transfers for you right here. And then after that, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be doing Spanish football, the El Clásico. Stay with us.
You are listening to FC Pitchside Podcast, part of the Footy Center lineup and powered by Ultra Press Media Company.
Yeah, welcome back here to FC Pitchside Podcast with me, Theo Winyan. Thank you very much for doing the viewing. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and leave your comments. On Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can also rate us very highly, as much as you can. 5-star. That is the trick. 5-star, and you enjoy the conversation. It's just like magic. And also, please follow the channel for more content like this. Now, we're going straight to the El Clásico and Real Madrid. They don't want to go there. They don't want to even talk about it. And that's because before the Copa del Rey final, there was a report that Real Madrid didn't even want to play because they were protesting about the referees and the VAR. They wanted them changed. It is a sense of entitlement for Real Madrid this season that has really irked me. But also, the football they've played has been very inconsistent. Carlo Ancelotti has still not gotten a full, grasp of how to play Vinicius, Kylian Mbappe, Bellingham, and Rodrigo. All four are superstars. All four cannot be on the bench, and all of them are playing, and it's causing so many problems for Real Madrid. He's gotten the balance in recent weeks, but it's still a problem. And they lost to Barcelona, who have already built their team under Hansi Flick, has become a breath of fresh air at the club that were dealing with a lot of financial issues. This season, nobody's talking about the money. It's all been about the football. It's been about Yamal and Rafinha and Lewandowski, Pedri, and everybody else. Like, everybody's playing great football. So let me just quickly take the thoughts of my guys here. I'll start with Sicho. Sicho has been yearning to talk about the El Clásico. Sicho, what are your thoughts on Real Madrid losing yet another El Clásico this season?
Yeah, they would be very disappointed, but Barcelona deserve a lot of credit for it. And the reason is simple. For me, that first half was entirely Barcelona. But the second half, to be honest, was Real Madrid until
Mm,
Real Madrid made those mistakes. And I'll speak about the mistakes. But I appreciate something about Barca, right? Aside the tactics, which I'm sure coach will get into, it was just the sheer commitment and attitude by the boys. In the first half, Madrid were not aggressive enough. Madrid stayed off Barca sometime for a while, and Barca could control the ball, dictate the play, find little pockets of spaces. By the way, what a goal by Pedri, though. We know he can pass the ball, we know he can, keep the ball, and you will take it from him. But he
yeah.
hasn't necessarily been shooting as he shot yesterday, and that was a magnificent goal from him when he scored the goal.
It's
Ultimately,
good. It's good you mentioned Pedri because, I mean, he's been one of the top guys for Barcelona, and I think that Hansi Flick pushing him a bit deeper is one of the things people don't talk about. This season, the conversation has been about Rafinha, it's been about Yamal, but no one. It's been like the third or fourth biggest story in Barcelona. But Pedri has been a great player for Barcelona this season, though.
when you've got a player whose IQ on the pitch is huge, he could virtually play everywhere, even though he doesn't look like physically he can fit into roles. Pedri is even a player I think that when you are in trouble, you can even slot him into that number 9 role, the false 9 role, because when teams play against Barca, they sit very deep. Because of the way he's able to manipulate the ball in tight spaces, he
Yeah.
wouldn't find trouble in doing so. He's that intelligent. And so when he drops deep, he sees the game right in front of him. And if it's even better because of the way he processes the game,
Mm,
when he has the whole pitch opening up to him and everything is ahead of him, and it's even more devastating for the opponents. But like I was saying, in that second half, Real Madrid got aggressive a lot more. They showed a lot of energy. They were pressing a bit harder. They were flying into tackles. They got a lot more physical. But we saw another side of Barcelona that we've not necessarily attributed to Barcelona. We've always known Barcelona to be a team that plays flamboyant football, nice on the eye, but we've never really given them credit for how physical they can be. As soon as Real Madrid stepped up the physicality, Barcelona matched the physicality, right? So
right.
Barcelona started being aggressive as well, and they matched Real Madrid. But Madrid got the 2 goals, Mbappe's free kick and then Chouameni. Then this is what would disappoint Real Madrid fans and the coach. That second goal from Ferran Torres, even though it was well taken, and the pass from Lamine Yamal was good, there was no danger. There was absolutely no danger if Courtois stayed put and allowed Rudiger to guide Ferran Torres wide. But Courtois, with his experience, I'm not sure why he committed himself that far out from the place or from his goal area. He committed himself. Credit to Ferran Torres, got the ball around him and started in the back of the net. That is a great mistake that Real Madrid players, the fans, the coach, everybody will be disappointed in. And then the goal that Kunde scored, great hit, but for a goalkeeper of Courtois' caliber, could he have done better? I mean, you be the judge, all of you doing the listening. Could he have done better? Maybe yes, maybe no. But ultimately, as soon as the game traveled into the extra time, it was
Mm,
almost like Barcelona would have an upper hand because Real Madrid has exerted so much energy in that second half to chase Barca,
right.
be aggressive, to try and win the game. But once Barcelona started trying to control the game a lot more in the second half, we just knew that they had the upper hand, right? And in the end, Kunde scored that goal that gave them the 3-2. But it happens in football. Sometimes when somebody has his boot on your throat, it can stay on your throat for like what 5, 6 games until you have some
Yeah.
energy to take or until they get tired and take their boots off, or you gather energy to take the boots off. So at the moment, Barcelona and Hansi Flick have absolutely got their boots on the throats of Real Madrid.
Ignatius, what has Hansi Flick done differently that Xavi couldn't do? Because Xavi struggled against Real Madrid. Ancelotti doesn't know how to. In fact, Hansi Flick has played 3 times against Real Madrid. He's won 4-0, 5-2, 3-2. My God.
If you like, put it 4, because you know he beats them in the early stages of the season when during
Right.
the tour, something like that.
The preseason,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you like, put it that way. But if anybody knows, if anybody knows Hansi Flick like I do, trust me, he's a coach that is relentless in terms of his approach to scoring. I think he's one of those who does not. He's okay. Again, he's an old fashioned who believes in if I score more than you, I win the game. You
I win the
understand?
game.
So look,
Right.
you see him now. He looks more animated in terms of when they score goals, he's jubilating. But before, when he was in Bayern and when he was with
With
the
Bayern.
German national
Yeah,
team, you
German.
could realize
Yeah.
they can be beating a team like 8-0 and he will still be staying put. He
And
doesn't
he's
even
still like Don Carlo.
he doesn't care
he wants
about
the
what.
ninth. He will score
Yes,
eight
yes,
and want a ninth.
exactly. He doesn't care. I think what he has brought, Rafinha puts it very, very much in context when they interviewed him. He says that
Okay.
Hans has changed a lot of things about him. Now I think he's on
Right.
60 goals, goal and assist something. You know why?
Involvement, yeah.
Because again, I think one thing we as coaches are failing to recognize is the man management aspect of the football now. I think before then, Fergie and Arsene Wenger and Mourinho and co were more of man managers than the
Yeah.
tactical approach. How to
And Ancelotti still is. I think he's the only last remaining elite man manager in the world of football.
exactly. You
Yeah.
know, so for me, what he has brought in is the man management aspect of this. He's not dwelling too much on the tactical approach because when you have these players, elite footballers, you are not the one to tell them when to hold the ball. For example, I always say if you have Partey in your team, I don't think you are the one to tell him when to hold on to the ball, when to pass the ball, when to move the ball forward, and what have you. All you have to do is to keep Partey fit and happy and then give him
Right.
a simple approach and he'll be playing. And what he has brought, and when I look at Barcelona, I have problems with their defensive approach. But I think, as Sicho as it was saying, they are more relentless on their attack and they believe that if they score more than you, they will win the game. So they keep on pushing to score more. And that's the mentality he has brought. I think Xavi was more of a conservative manager who believed in just being conservative, pass the ball, try to win games. But this one comes in and it's like, we can beat you. So let's go in there. If we lose, no problem. But let's go in there and win the game.
But just so you know, I mean, Yamal has been producing some stellar numbers this season, including in the Copa del Rey. He's played 5 games, scored 2 goals, 6 assists. And he also contributed in sinking Real Madrid in the final. The jubilation, if you haven't seen it, has been spectacular all over social media and, of course, everywhere in Barcelona. And they are aiming for the treble. Nobody knows if they're able to win it, but they are
They
gunning
will
for the
not.
La Liga title. They
They
are
will not.
gunning for the UEFA Champions League, and there's the Copa del Rey. Sichov made an interesting point last week. He says that. What was your point? You said something about a new
Whenever
team
the
winning
Allianz
it.
Arena have hosted the Champions League final, a new team wins it.
Oh, right, like Chelsea did in 2012. Thank you very much for giving me such great reminders. Arsenal fans have gone to dig some narrative to suit them.
No, when there is
We
a new
can see
pope,
you. We can
look.
see
In
you.
2005, there was a new pope. There was a new pope. An English team won it. In 2012, there was a new
Right.
pope. An English team won it. So this season,
So I mean, this would be a good segue for us to get into the UEFA Champions League. We'll be right back.
This is the FC Pitchside Podcast, the first in an exciting lineup of podcasts by Footy Centre. Footy Centre is where you'd read your intriguing opinions and daily stories about football. From Europe's biggest leagues, the Champions League, international matches, and for Ghanaian fans, get closer to your favorite national teams.
Now we're back here doing the FC Pitchside Podcast. This is another episode with me here, and I'm here with Sicho, Akomia, and Ignatius, the Arsene Wenger of African football. But let's go straight into what possibly Arsene Wenger tried to do when he was head coach of Arsenal. Remember, he was the last person to lead Arsenal to a semi-final in the UEFA Champions League. This time they play against Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain are the Giants killers in this season's Champions League, because one of the top favorites for the Champions League this season was Liverpool. Where are they? Nowhere to be found because of PSG. Are they able to repeat the trick against another English side? Because they've done it against Aston Villa too. This is the third English side that PSG are facing in the knockout phase of the Champions League this season. It's almost like they've been cursed. But so far, the curse is not doing them any damage. Ignatius, I want to have your take on Arsenal. I mean, it will be unfair if I move you to Barcelona, Inter Milan, because you have a soft spot for Arsenal. How do you see this game going? But please keep it within 60 seconds.
Arsenal qualifies ahead of PSG. For me, Arsenal qualifies because you see,
Your soft spot is showing.
no. It's not about. That's all that they have to save their season, to save their
Right.
manager, to save everybody, and that's all. So it's like, without this thing, the season is a failure. Will you want your season?
But also note
to be
that
failure?
when Arsenal are faced with pressure, most of the time they fail, especially under
Not-
Arteta.
Not
So if
with
there's a
this.
pressure for them to save their season with this, I'm just saying, if this is what
They would have-
saves their
they would-
season, and there's no
They
pressure,
would have failed. They would have failed in the last round. They would have failed in the last round.
Right.
Nobody saw it coming.
Right.
And for me,
Yeah.
they should take inspiration from what they did with Madrid going into this game, because just as Akumia was saying, it's a match of equals. Yes, you might talk about these ones have this, because when you look at PSG, they are now also peaking, and with Arsenal, you hardly create chances against them, and they are good on set pieces. That's why I say that Arsenal slightly is edging PSG, and for me, Arsenal should
Okay.
qualify to the finals.
Same rule applies to you, Sicho. I want to know, between Barcelona and Inter Milan, who do you think goes through?
It's a difficult one.
How
To
do
be
you see this
honest,
game going?
yeah, I can tell you how I see it going, but it's difficult to tell who is going through. To be honest, it's after the first leg that I can. It's after the first leg. It's very close.
So
to
the
really.
first leg. So what are your predictions for the first leg?
So my first leg, my prediction really is that we could be seeing a draw in that fixture. That is also because Barcelona were really stretched in that game against Real Madrid. The emotional effect of it, the physical effect of it. I wonder if they recover in time to be able to go at maximum against Inter. Inter, on the other hand, have had a terrible week. They lost against Bologna, lost in the Copa against AC Milan, their rivals, and they lost over the weekend against Roma, right? So they also now need to pick themselves up. So it's a very difficult one to call.
But
Could
also,
be
it's
seeing a
because
draw.
Simeone has been, he's been working with his squad, his full squad. He's been trying to make some changes to rest players, to get players fit,
Yeah, but
and all
defeat
that.
also
I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying.
Defeat saps momentum away from the team. As we speak now, they are second in
Right.
Serie A because Napoli
Victories
won.
can also invoke complacency. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a difficult one.
Right. The UEFA Champions League continues this week, and in midweek you have Barcelona facing Inter Milan. You have Arsenal coming up against Paris Saint-Germain. We'll be back here to review those games. It will be a very interesting conversation, but we are going to brush in the next 5 minutes, brush over Kumasi Asante Kotoko and what's going on there with Prosper Nate Ogum. And that's because, this guy, for those who do not know Prosper Nate, he used to be at Wafa. I remember having a conversation with him when I covered Wafa a few times, and he would always tell me, you guys, you can see the work I'm doing. You guys need to push me to get to the top, And within a year of that conversation, Prosper had that Kotoko job. I was really excited for him, knowing that he wanted the job. He wanted to be there. He's not one of those guys that didn't prepare for it. He was waiting for that opportunity. But it's like everything that's happened after has been zilch. He won the Ghana Premier League with them, but it's been a lot of off-field issues. His press conferences haven't gone down well with the Kotoko fraternity. They think that he's a bit arrogant. They think he talks down on the players. He talks down on the fans. The executive committee or the board have not been happy with him about certain results as well. It's been in and out. He left the club. He came back through the IMC, and the same issues began. Even though he led Kotoko to the summit of the Premier League, the last 4 games have not been too good. Kotoko won this weekend, but before that, they had gone 4 games without winning. And that maybe prompted the sacking. But now he's no longer with the club, and for a coach that is very highly reputed, nobody really knows what goes on behind the scenes and how some of these decisions are taken. How has it come to this that a coach that is doing quite well at the club? We all know the Ghana football terrain is not consistent, so we are not expecting him to win titles like Didi Dramani did, for example. But what do you think about this story? I mean, when you heard it that
I think
he's been sacked and
I
all that.
think the story of his sack is emanating from last season. That means the beginning of this season. So he has been living on the edge. After he sacked, Sijo, did he sack 21 players or 23 players? Akomia, how many players?
21 players. 21 players
So
was
Yeah,
sacked.
that was a bad move, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. So for a coach sacking 21 players, so he's been living on the edge. I learned even before the Adriana match last season, this season at Adriana, he was nearly sacked only for him to go and win at Adriana and for him to save his job, But Thierry, there are a lot of things that go on, just as Akumi is saying. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the tactical approach. Truth be told, sometimes it has nothing to do with the football they play, because
Right.
people come to you and believe that when they pray, because some of the excuses they give are so flimsy. Like somebody approaches me and it's like, they say that you are a Catholic and the team you are coaching, a lot of the people around are Muslims. So when they go to do the somethings, because because you are a Catholic, it doesn't work and what have you. So sometimes it doesn't.
Usunsumi Edumadeɛ no, Edumadeɛ no.
That's what they tell you.
Anyway,
But for me, the,
all
the
right.
reality
Mhm.
on ground was that if Akomia says that I was begging for him to stay, who was that? Who was who? Now me power ya job. But I felt, no, truth be told, I felt the timing was not good, because you see,
Right.
Kotoko has three, and I'm a coach. I can understand that. At least give him to the end of the season, because there are 6 matches to go. You understand?
Right.
Because I don't believe that a coach comes in the next 6 matches and will deliver the title, and it's something I don't believe in. Secondly, he has an opportunity to win the FA Cup. You understand? And he's won the league for Kotoko before. So
But he's always struggling in the FA Cup anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That's fair. But now he's in the semi-finals. He's never been into the
right.
semi-finals
So
before.
so you mean it could change?
Yes, it could change. So for me, just give him to the end of the season. If he doesn't deliver anything, you say, because bringing in a coach now, trust me,
Right.
will not guarantee what do you call it, winning the titles.
Prosper Nati has spent 3 seasons at Kumasi Asante Kotoko, 96 games that he's managed. He's managed to get 46 wins out of them, 25 draws, 25 losses. Those numbers are not so impressive, to be honest. 104 goals have been scored, 70 goals conceded, 1 trophy, which is the Ghana Premier League, that he won. This season, he's managed 28 games, 46% win rate, 6 points behind league leaders. As it is, like I said, the numbers aren't too good. When you put everything on paper and you
Oh,
crystallize them, you realize that
Terry,
it
you
goes
have to
beyond the big
understand that
names involved.
Kotoko is a big club, and no big
Of
club
course.
will want to lose 3 matches on a go. In fact, I
Yeah.
think he's one of the coaches. To be fair with the Kotoko management, I don't like the way they went about it, but to be fair with him, I think he's one of the coaches who has had what do you call it, very much holiday with the Kotoko management, because
Mm.
no coach will have what he has had. So it is painful as a coach to lose a job. Like for me, as I'm sitting, it's painful for me for him to lose his job. But we should also be fair with management, because you cannot be losing three. I don't know. You are saying it. We
Yeah.
don't have.
I
We don't
mean.
have. We don't have his contract. We don't
Anyway,
have his contract.
we move on, guys. And it is time. It is time. It is time. It is time for the quiz. I'm really excited about this one, and hopefully these guys come to the table. Now, this game is called the Player Zigzag. Sicho knows all about this. You guys are
I
new
don't know. I
to
don't
it.
know anything. Give me the
So
rules.
Sicho,
I
so
don't know
Sicho,
so
Sicho
anything.
Chicho,
wants to
you
downplay the
get
pressure on
you
I don't
him.
get
know
a ball
Sicho
already.
wants
anything.
to
I
Eh?
don't know
downplay the
You are
pressure
doing
on
with
him.
the camp. You get a
I
ball
don't know
already.
anything. I don't know
Chicho
anything.
get a
Spell
ball
the rules.
already.
Spell the rules.
So when I say he knows about it, he doesn't know the questions for today, but he knows how the game goes.
Okay.
And so this was going to happen. I mentioned the trajectory of the player. The first person to guess it has won that round, and then we move on to the next round. First player, great player. He started his football with Girondins de Bordeaux in France. And then he moved from there to Juventus. He played at Juventus for a while and said, nah. And then he moved to Real Madrid. Wrong.
Zidane.
Wrong.
Zidane too is wrong.
Oh, you said Zidane?
Yes.
Who said Zidane?
Me, Kofi, Ignatius.
Oh, Zidane, correct. Zidane, correct. He played only 3 clubs in his entire career, and that's it. So we have 4 more players. Ignatius is in a comfortable lead.
I'm going to see my class. Yes, we will be starting the ball. See my class.
That's what Michael Essien saying. Anyway, so
the worst answer I've heard in my life.
I'm telling you, Michael Essien. Let's move on. Let's move on quickly. This guy started his football with Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. Then he later moved to Barcelona.
Quaresma.
Because
Ricardo Quaresma.
No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. And then he moved from there because he's such a great. He played for Real Madrid.
That's
one of the only players.
Figo.
Stop. You had your chance. You had your chance, my guy. You guys had your chance. You guys had your chances.
I said it.
Who said it first? Producer Joe. Who said it first? Please, who said it first?
It's Kofi.
Okay, so I've been told Sicho said it first. I've been told
Sicho. No, Sicho said Quaresma first. And then
no. You don't have unlimited.
No, you don't have unlimited chance. You don't have a limited chance. You have unlimited chances to mention. So he's still qualified to mention. So we've done Zidane, we've done Luis Figo. What about this guy? He started his football with Great Olympics. Then he moved to Galatasaray. He says he didn't like Turkey, but he still liked Turkey, so he'll stay there actually. So he now played for Sakaryaspor. Then from there he played for Göztepe. And then from Göztepe he played for Antalyaspor. From Antalyaspor, he went on loan to Elazığspor. Now from there he moved to Ankaraspor. He liked Turkey, but this time he says, I've had enough. I'm going to Hammarby on loan. Then he went to Birmingham City. At this point, if you don't know,
Kingston.
Sicho got it. Sicho said it first. This guy started his career at Santa Cruz. Then he moved from Santa Cruz to Mogi Mirim. Now from there he played for Corinthians. The confusion on your faces is killing me. I love it. Then he moved from Corinthians to Palmeiras. Then now he was done with South America. He says, I'm going to Europe. He played for Deportivo La Corona. You guys remember that team?
Yeah.
They used to be a main team in La Liga. Then he moved from Deportivo straight to FC Barcelona. Still not getting it. He moved from Barcelona to AC Milan. Wow. Then from AC Milan, he decided to go to Cruzeiro because this time he was done with Europe. Then to Olympiacos.
No, Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho
I didn't mention Paris
PSG.
Saint-Germain. I didn't mention Paris Saint-Germain. I've not mentioned.
Yes.
Thank you. He moved from Cruzeiro to Olympiacos to AEK Athens, and then he went to Sao Paulo on loan, played a lot of other smaller clubs over there.
Is it
This
Paulino?
is a legend in the world of football. Sorry?
Paulino.
No. Easy, guys. Easy.
Pass. This one pass.
Pass?
Pass because this one.
Pass? Okay. So if nobody's getting it, for the sake of time, I'm going to mention the player's name, and you guys are going to be like, oh, Rivaldo. Rivaldo is the player. Rivaldo is a player. So what this means is that we have Sicho winning this one comfortably.
Kudos,
He's
Sicho,
won it.
kudos,
He's won it. Cicho has blown you guys out of the water. And that's it. I wanted to ask a last one, but I think because of time, we'll just end it here. But guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Cicho, Ignatius, thank you very much for joining us here on the FC Pitchside podcast. As you know, this is an fabulous. It's a pleasure from my side and the production team as well. And as you know, this is a weekly FC Pitchside podcast that we keep bringing you on YouTube. If you're watching, subscribe, leave a comment as well. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, leave a comment and please rate us very highly. And we'll see you same time next week. For me, I'm off, and the guys as well.
FC Pitchside Podcast, part of the Footy Center lineup and powered by Ultra Press Media Company.